most competitive pricing come in. So we're actually looking to do different land or rooftop leases or parking lot leases. So how that works is, say you have a brownfield in your town that you're interested in developing a solar project on, we'll actually pay you a lease rate, usually for a 25-year term with the option of up to 3 5-year extensions after that. And that's guaranteed revenue that would be going back into the town each and every year. So I'll kind of go over the application process a little bit. The deadline for the first submission for year 1 is September 9th. It's a 75 megawatt program. The projects must score a minimum of 30 points, and I'll kind of go over how you guys can optimize your applications and make them stand out, because the first year is probably going to be a very competitive process from what we're seeing with all the developers coming from out of state right now. There's no minimum size of projects. You will get developers that'll tell you it has to be at least 3 to 4 megawatts for it to be a viable project, which it really doesn't. There's these smaller projects that are really going to stand out and really can help that low to moderate income. Projects not selected in year 1 can reapply for year 2. And there's actually no fee to submit the application, which is great that the state did that. I've seen in other states where that application fee has been over $7,500 just to submit an application like to get the money. No, don't look at Massachusetts. Yeah. So this is the evaluation criteria that you can find in the application. So I'll kind of walk you through what each of those criteria is. So the first thing is the siting and land development. So when you're picking a developer, you want to find somebody that kind of has that expertise, whether it's working on a ground mount system, the different engineering that's going to be required for that rooftop, and the different requirements for the carport structures as well. So prior to an application being submitted for anything that's going to be placed on the ground, you actually have to meet with the NJ DEP, and you have to complete a permit readiness checklist. That permit readiness checklist is about 25 pages, and it's extremely complicated. So that's why you want to find somebody that has that land experience in developing that project, because through that, the NJDEP is going to let you know that you have to get special permits. So it's not just the permits that are going to be going through the regular municipality. You could actually be required to have different land use permits, air quality, pollutant zoning, different variances. It's all stuff that kind of with these large scale projects. And then also for the municipalities, for any RFPs, you don't have to rush right away to have that developer chosen when you're going through this project. And the application process, you can have within 90 days after your project is approved by the BPU, you have that 90 days to have that contractor selected through an RFP. So through the application, they have everything scored for the highest, medium, and no points. So the highest criteria that you're going to get, which is the max of the 30 points, are projects that are going to be landfills. Landfill doesn't have to be capped at the time of the application, but obviously it would have to be capped once the project is being built. Brownfields, projects that are historic fill, rooftops. This is a great opportunity to go off and go after any of these large rooftops in your community that are really unused assets. Parking lots and parking decks. Medium points would be canopies over impervious surfaces, and then areas in need of redevelopment.
Well, what would a parking lot be? Would it be a canopy?
They have it kind of broken down a little bit differently in the application. I don't know if you could.
So parking decks are parking decks, right? So they're already roofed, built up.
Parking
So,
lot, yes.
yeah, a parking lot.
Yeah,
So,
that canopy over it.
yeah, so there's just, it's just in the DEP siting criteria. So we're linked up with them, and to talk about that 25-page DEP form, there's less that you have to fill out, so.
Would the highest be parking decks instead of parking lots? Is that what it should be, or no?
No, they're all the same.
Okay.
So if it's an impervious area, there's some stormwater runoff that you have to deal with. So it's from the DEP standpoint, it's a less preferred location than having a parking deck or a parking lot.
What would be an example of a canopy over an impervious surface that's not a parking lot? Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And then where they have the criteria for no points is preserved land, wetlands, forested areas, farmland. Anything that's considered like preserved farmland, you can get special approval, but that has to go through the DEP. as well.
No preserved farmland, absolutely not.
Okay,
Green acres.
Green
If
acres.
you have green acres and you wanted to swap properties, you would have to go to DEP and say, give us approval to do this here, but we're going to put this in the green acres plan. So,
What if a
but
parking lot is in the park, Green Acres Park? Parking lot is
So DEP so that's why this is a pilot program.
Yeah.
So we said no, but now they're saying, well, and the same thing with preserved farmlands. They're saying, wait a minute, what if we have a farm stand and a preserved farmland and they have a parking lot? Can we put, yes, that works out. So we have to tweak the rules to do that. So good point. Next year, but not this one.
Yeah, what if you have a big barn on your preserve farm that has a big roof? That might be pretty good.
Right, so that's what they're thinking of is, we don't want to say no. Well, first of all, pilot program, we put rules together, sometimes rushing. We had 210 days to stand up the program, so
So you can take.
we didn't get everything right the first time, so we'll probably get that right.
there's a great tool that you could use. It's the New Jersey Community Solar PV siting tool. And by utilizing this tool, you can put any addresses in your town that you're looking to develop a project in, and you can see where it falls into and what criteria, whether it's going to be that high scoring, medium, or low.
Does that tool help with the interconnection and capacity? Does it show that?
There's a different tool for that each utility has as well, that you could look and see kind of what that utility infrastructure and what the grid can handle. And
That's the hosting capacity map. All the utilities have mapped out every circuit across the state of New Jersey, and you can see how much capacity on every circuit you can have.
So are they just different layers on the same map, or is it?
So yes, you can go to DEP, you can see the statewide hosting capacity maps, but if you really want to do this, to get down into the data, you probably, and there's all links back to each utility's website. But we put it so that you can go out and see the entire state of New Jersey in one location.
But then you would drill down on a different map?
Well, you would have to go to the utility website to drill down into the map.
Other ways for the grading criteria on the application is different community involvement. You want to look for different ways to obviously partner with different community organizations, different nonprofits. Part of this is working with the low-income housing, the utility assistance programs within your community, and really having concrete partnerships with them to help all the low to moderate income. You also want to look at a developer that's going to have different job training and job creation, obviously, in your market. You want to look for developers that create partnerships with maybe training veterans that are going to be there long term, that are going to be there to maintain the system for the 35, 50 years that it's going to be there. And they're also looking for different municipality partnerships. When you have that municipality partnership, you're looking for a letter of support from the municipality, showing at least one or more meeting, and then just the general approval of the design, development, and the operation of that project within your town.
So would you say municipal support, financial support?
No, just support of the project in general. So typically the developer, they'll handling all the finance end of the project, and that's really the municipality partnerships is when you're going after a project that's really not municipal owned. Say a local landowner in town and you still want to maybe feed some of that electricity to the municipality. And there's also out there too, it's different subscriber organizations. These subscriber organizations partner with the solar developers and they kind of act like as a program manager. So they're the ones that are handling the customer service, the billing software, they're tracking the production, and they're also retaining those customers and then helping promote the site to get those customers that are going to get the energy from your site. So when it comes to the community solar offtake of who's going to be getting that energy from that site, obviously you can have it go to different commercial and industrial offtake. And also, obviously, the heavy focus on that low to moderate income and also residential subscribers. So this gives everybody the opportunity to have solar, whether they're in trees, they're renters, they're in apartment buildings. So now everybody has access to that clean energy. They also look in a project for that anchor subscriber. That anchor subscriber is somebody that's kind of the financial of the project that's going to be here to stay and kind of always paying for their bill. For the anchor subscriber, they're really looking for those Fortune 200 companies and that strong name that's going to be part of that project.
What about a municipality?
Yep, municipality would be considered anchor. They're really looking for something that's going to be there, no doubt, for however long that project is going to be.
And when you're talking about an anchor, one customer can take up to 40% of a project. So if it's 5 megawatts, you can get 40% of that 5 megawatts as one customer. So a municipality, if your sweet spot is a megawatt, 5 acres, that's 400 kW.
So as the developer, say you're putting in 5 megawatts, do you want to have them all contracted for? Because can you just sell power to the grid anywhere?
Not with the community solar
Not
project.
right.
So you have to have it fully
Yeah.
subscribed.
Right. So you can go out and do that as a grid supply project. You want to build a power plant, go build a power plant. We want this to be available to the customers in New Jersey, whether that's a municipality, a commercial building, or a resident, and with a big emphasis on low and moderate income families. So 40% of that 75 megawatts has to be for low and moderate income customers. And the higher it is, the more points you get. So.
And then the other part of the application is they're looking for how much you're going to save the community solar offtake. So highest criteria is guaranteed savings over 10% and having flexible terms. Medium guaranteed savings over 5%. And no points, they're showing no guaranteed savings and no flexible terms. So you kind of want to look at the product offering. So every community solar developer is going to be offering something different. So you want to look at the different terms that they're offering as part of their contract. So what's that contract length? Is there any special terms? What's the cancellation? What's the transfer if somebody moves and it doesn't go with them to their new home? There's a really good guide on the SIA website, which really digs into what to look for when you're signing a community solar contract. That's all I have.
So I'll just give you a couple of points before. So why are we doing this? So we talked about, that 1 megawatt being the sweet spot. That cost, when I ran out that cost, if you were going to put it on your roof, $3 a watt, their cost gets down to $2 a watt, $1 a watt. So I'm able to build out a more cost-effective solar project, but the customers still get that retail rate. So you're still getting the benefit of the retail rate, even though I'm building that grid supply project. I'm building a large project that mostly would have been sending power to the grid and going to the spot market. Now it's going to you on actual heat. So we're able to do that, and again, we're able to do that at a lower cost, get more solar built in New Jersey at a lower cost, which means we can reduce the incentive a little. We don't have to give as much on the SREC program. That's why we're doing that. We get to build a whole lot of solar, and we get to make that available for low and moderate income customers who haven't been able to get into the clean energy economy up till now. So those are the benefits that we're sort of looking at. For what we do currently, we spend $200 to $300 million a year on energy assistance, providing energy to low-income customers to pay their utility bill. If we can do this, and they can buy into a community solar project, and we can provide that incentive to them to buy into the project, we don't have to do USF. So again, we get more solar built, and we get low and moderate income customers in the project, and we can lower your bills actually in terms of what you're paying for USF ultimately. It's a win-win across the board.
Is it more than 10% that you pay for utility assistance to these low income?
On your bill, it's probably, it's about 3% of your bill, 2 to 3% of your bill. So.
I thought
Sorry,
I saw PR that in Montclair, Verona, and Lambridge had already launch the project, but it sounds like
Nobody's launched
Yeah,
it.
so
nobody just PR that they're applying.
Well, they could be applying, right.
No, but I think what he's talking about is the Sustainable Essex Alliance, RGEA project,
Oh,
which is it's an entirely separate
It's not
program.
community solar.
Oh, it's
No, it's not
the
community solar.
aggregation?
It's
Yeah,
aggregation.
yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy aggregation.
How is that related at all?
If you're interested in that project.
So you could still have a third part, so energy aggregation means you're going out and buying a third party, you're aggregating. You could still do, the building gets really complicated, you could still do that, but what we're gonna take is the BGF, the basic generator rate that gets set for the state of New Jersey. So your rate in the aggregation doesn't matter. It's too complicated to do that right now. We may be able to do that in a year or two. For getting the utilities to do this, they have to take baby steps. We can't throw all of that at them, so we can't have, them going in, going out, and you're getting aggregated data over here, and then matching that up with the community solar billing. That just would blow their minds in their computer systems, and it would actually, they would come back to us and say, I want $100 million for a new computer system, and be able to do that. So baby steps, one step at a time, we'll get there, but not for the first year, or maybe the first pilot.
So aggregation is more to save money, and then because they're buying in bulk, they have the weight to throw around and say, can you make some of it clean energy?
You could do it, but you're not going to get the rate that you're getting in your aggregation. You're going to get the average rate for the state of New Jersey, just because that's the way it is. And that's a little higher than what you probably were.
And the savings didn't seem that great, that,
It was
$150 a year out.
it's 5 to 10% of the bill. That they said not Sherwood, but in Livingston. Livingston, I think PSEG was giving 5 to 10% and JCP&L was flat, roughly.
Again,
That's why doing it with multiple towns like Maplewood, Verona, the 5 towns are getting a great savings.
So JCP&L and PSEG are their utility distributors. Deliver your bill, it's probably somebody else that's providing the wholesale. But you had a question, I'm sorry. I cut you
I
off.
have a couple questions about customers. So are there any restrictions on where the customers need to be sited for the community solar? Like where do they have to meet? They have to
Oh,
meet
anywhere?
in the utility, in that specific utility.
So you could be, you could be in Hoboken and have a community solar project in Camden. Right? You could you can have a customer in Camden who wants to be in a project that's built in Newark.
Although you do get a couple more points for proximity.
Right, and so what we're saying, this is community solar. Now the utilities say, if we spread out where these projects are, because of that hosting capacity map, they can build larger projects. Maybe downtown here in Summit, the lines are all taken up, so maybe you can't build it there, but you can go 2 towns over and put it there, or you can put it, on the other side of the state and have more capacity, and they can, because, again, this is a billing issue, it's not the electrons moving, it's probably easier for them to do that. But our goal is to have this really be a community project. At some point, you should be able to build a project in your community, put it on roof spaces, put it on your brownfields, have power generated locally. That's a goal that we're moving towards. But right now, it's open anywhere in the service area.
And my other question was, how are you defining low and moderate income?
So low income is 200% of the federal poverty level, and moderate income is 80% of the average mean income, for the average area mean income. So it's defined in the regulations.
And if they qualify for a good number of like SNAP or many of the other programs, they'll qualify for this.
So if you're in
So if they're receiving financial assistance for their energy, they automatically qualify?
Yeah. So you go through the, pharmaceutical age to drug disability pad. That application, if you file that application, that's good enough for low income. So,
How about the free and reduced lunch program?
yeah, same difference.
Maybe split up between different areas, say if in the same town, if you didn't have one big open space, say you wanted to put solar panels on your municipal building, and then on your library, and then all in the same area, but not the exact same spot, can you separate it like that?
So the community solar has to be 1 meter. So it is 1 meter. So right now, no. We'll probably get there. There is another program called remote net metering for municipalities. They can do that. So they can combine, they can put solar on different buildings and aggregate that, and they can get the retail rate for doing that. But that's only for the municipality. So the municipality, its own use, can do that, but you can't then sell that to customers right now. And again, baby steps. We're changing the billing system radically, right? So we have to get that in place, and then we can take these steps where we can have multiple sites and build that out. So probably by the full program, but not in the pilot.
Could they just do separate applications?
They can do separate applications, but again, then you'd have, right, but it would be a separate application.
So it's interesting you mentioned that, so Westfield right now, so we are in the process of, we've done a siting analysis for all of our municipal buildings and have determined that there's probably 3 buildings appropriate for rooftop solar. And then there's also the pool parking lot, which is a potential community solar project. My question is, as a municipality, why is community solar better than remote net metering?
So if you're
What
only,
is the difference? I
so
don't
again,
have
if
a good
it's only
understanding
for
what the difference is.
your buildings, remote net metering, if you only want to do it for your own municipal buildings, remote net metering. Because you can link up different buildings and then you can aggregate that, and you get the retail rate, same thing minus the SBCs. So if you're only doing municipal building. However, if your buildings are larger,
Yeah.
and you know, you can put a megawatt on a building and you only need 40% of that, then I would think, and again, I don't, you know, you would have to have somebody come in and do the analysis. Then I think community solar is better for you, because again, then you're maximizing the space on your roof, and you're getting a payment for that other 60%.
Yep.
So you're still getting your 40%. All of the municipality buildings can be customers then in that percentage, plus you can sell it to other people, plus you would get the lease payment. Well, they would sell it to other people, but you would get that lease payment on your roof, which is a good, you know, depending on the deal you make with the developer, it's revenue into the municipality. I would think then community solar would be better.
The analysis we've gotten from one developer, we're in the process of, the town council process of voting for an RFP to bring it out further. But it's 15 to 30% type savings for the town on their bill. Then the issue is, okay, for a community solar project on a pool parking lot, there's these requirements, right? You need to have at least 10 subscribers. So we're sort of trying to figure out, okay, who's the optimal type of subscriber for a municipality?
Yeah, and I think one big question that we've struggled with is thinking about how are you sure that you don't create disparity? So
Yeah.
let's just say you could give that opportunity to 10 people, like how do you choose
Yeah.
what 10 people in
Right.
town? Because really you're giving them a discount. And
Yeah.
so that is how, linking it with an affordable housing project somehow. So, you know, the affordable housing project seemed to us to be the best place to try to start in order to think through that.
What about other nonprofits, like churches,
So, yeah, I mean, they're
elder care,
potential.
senior citizen housing, that?
So, Mike may have, so one thing you just have to look at is some of those institutions are getting a different rate for their energy consumption. If they get a commercial, they're already out on the open market and they get a commercial rate. For your house, let's say, for example, you're paying 15 cents a kilowatt hour, maybe your church is paying 10 cents. And so sometimes that commercial rate can make it hard for the developer to earn their margin, and so it's a little, we're trying to figure out how to overcome this.
Anything else that you would?
No, just the different community partnerships, and definitely you want to look at the different rates that people are paying, because you want to be able to get them that guaranteed savings, because you want to see a savings of over 10% to have that higher criteria.
And this is only on the energy portion of your bill?
Yeah.
So commercial customers have a demand charge. This does nothing to reduce the demand charge. Have batteries, hey, maybe, sure, you can do something on the demand charge side. Maybe you can even tweak something on the margin. But community solar, just like solar, doesn't do anything on the demand charge. So you still have that. I don't want to have people going in saying, I'm going to get a zero bill. On a commercial side, you're not going to get a zero bill.
And then how do the SRECs factor into this? I guess more for the developers.
Yeah.
Right, because
so-
we're thinking about PPA project. So how do the SRECs, how are you guys pricing SRECs for a 20-year project?
Well, SRECs are only a 10-year program
Yeah.
right now, and we don't know what that successor program is going to be. It's still kind of unclear on how the SRECs are going to really play into community solar.
I can say, like, maybe that's a sign I shouldn't be saying this. So the board said yesterday, the board approved an order that said, hey, if you apply and you're in line, you will get one of these things. You'll either get the legacy SREC if you get in place when the 5.1%, you'll get this transition, or you get something else. So the board said, you apply, you'll get something. I don't know what that something will be, but you'll get something. So
When is the expected sort of step down? Is it end of this year, or is it probably not be done yet? Okay.
You'll get a different answer
Sorry.
from every developer.
It's the building owner that retains the rights to the SREC, right, or is it the developer? It's not the subscriber,
No,
it's
it's
the
the developer.
developer, for the building owner. For
the
SRECs,
SRECs or
yeah.
for the incentive? It all depends on the contract, how you're struck. If you're buying those panels, you may strike a deal that says, I want to get some amount of that incentive. If you're just buying the energy, you're going to get, so it all depends. You would have to.
If the developer is financing the whole project and paying the town a lease rate for the land or the rooftop space, they're going to get to take advantage of the SRECs, and the town would just get the benefit of subscribing to the project, getting the discounted rate for the electricity, and then obviously getting that guaranteed lease revenue.
But how can you guarantee the discount for X years if you don't know what's going to happen to the SREC?
That's the risk the developers
You're
take
taking
as
the
part of the project.
So that's a great question. So we have looked at different states of how they did the discount, and what we're getting is a universal piece of guidance that you want to go for a fixed discount. So let's just say it's 5%, so that you can imagine that when the price of energy goes up, they're getting money from the solar field, but then then there's also the cost of electricity. So you want to benefit from that discount as it changes, versus a fixed dollar amount, $10, whatever it is, or something that could be a variable rate. So that would be a consideration in writing a contract, that you'd really want to think about that.
And let us say the low-income person, is that subscription based on that person's income or the person's electrical bill? How does that work?
So they get into the program as a low-income customer based on their income. So it's income-based to define them as a low or moderate income customer.
Right,
But the billing is based on their bill. So if they're in a building that has, a master meter, it's going to be, it's based on the master meter. Probably not something that we would allow, a customer that doesn't have a meter. You have to have a meter to get into the program. So then it would be based on the low income's meter in that building. So you can't have, the master meter, if the building is low income and they want to subscribe, it would be based on the master meter energy use.
But that
So the
number,
master
like
meter-
$100 a month that you threw out,
Well,
what's that based on?
Well, then the building owner for that master meter would then allocate the money back to those customers. We say in the rules, that money has to flow back to the low-income customer in that building. How they do that, we haven't sort of subscribed that out.
What is the moderate income to low? Like what is?
So it's 80% of the area mean income.
So in
Whatever that-
Princeton, a family of four, it's $70,000
So moderate?
So you-
for moderate.
Right.
That is the 80%, or is that before the 80%?
So that's 80% of the area median income. You have to go in and look, so every area is different. I can't tell you, it's typically around $80,000. I don't know what it is average for us.
But is that family of four, you know,
Yeah,
it
right.
varies for the number of people in the
Right.
household.
So there, you know, you can go
But
into
the fact
DCAs.
that there are
DCA
many
has-
programs that people participate in that qualify them
Yes,
for that
yes.
category makes it easy because
Right.
So we
anyone
run
with school
programs-
children in the
Mhm.
program would automatically.
We run programs called True Grant, and there's another one, and that's for moderate income families, and we have the data.
There's also nonprofits that run their own
Yeah.
separate programs as well.
So, yeah, so
Partner
like,
with-
one of our partners is our affordable housing nonprofit. Well, everyone who's in their housing has qualified, so you know, you already.
So
Done.
here's another question. Since some of those families are receiving income assistance for their utility bills, if they subscribe and they still need that assistance, is that assistance still
So
available?
this doesn't change any of that for
Uh-huh.
you. What we will be doing is trying to go in with DCA and the utilities and saying, okay, we want to give that low-income customer a subscription in a project, and we're going to use the USF money that they're getting as that payment to the developer. And then they're getting free electricity.
Aha.
But we haven't,
Yes.
that's pretty complicated, we're figuring it out.
Mhm.
That also, one of the things we're looking at is consolidated billing. So right now, if they build a project, you have to send the money to them, and then you have a utility bill, you have to send your money on the bill. We're trying to see if we can consolidate that in one bill. The issue becomes if somebody doesn't pay, who owns that responsibility? Right now, if you're not paying your bill, it goes into a socialized issue. If you're a third party, you're buying from a third party and you don't pay your bill, that gets covered by all the ratepayers in the state of New Jersey. Do we want to do that with community solar? If you sign up for community solar and you don't pay the bill, should everybody else, ratepayers, pay for you to have that benefit?
So what is, are you signing a contract? You signing a mortgage? Is there any,
You sign a subscription contract.
you sign a subscription contract? You're not signing, so the counterparty doesn't have any sort of rights, right? Or if the customer defaults, right?
It'll be different in each contract, so there'll be special terms. It depends on really what the developer chooses, and there'll be all different contract lengths and different late fees or anything like that. That'll be up to the developer and the town when they're creating that contract.
It's not secure. It's a particularly unsecure sort of contract.
That I really don't know.
But it's not like a mortgage, right? If you
No.
stop paying your mortgage, the bank can go and foreclose on the house. So so you're gonna have to, but I guess the developer has to sort of build in a certain amount of non-payment.
Yeah, and they also have customers that